Have you ever felt it? That splinter in your mind, that gnawing suspicion that the world around you isn't the full picture, a sense that the life you're meticulously building, the truths you hold dear, might be built on foundations of sand, ready to be swept away by a tide you never saw coming. You chase fleeting moments of joy, you collect accolades, you surround yourself with the tangible, yet a hollow echo often answers your deepest cries for meaning. What if the reality you perceive, the one you touch, taste, and see, is merely a sophisticated puppet show, designed to keep you distracted, placid, and comfortably numb? This isn't a fleeting nightmare. This is a question that has haunted humanity for millennia, whispered in the hallowed halls of ancient academies. And tonight we drag this question from the shadows and into the stark, uncomfortable light. Prepare yourself, because the truth we are about to explore through the eyes of a titan of thought might just shatter the very lens through which you view your existence. You think you're awake? You believe you're in control? What if the most profound prison is the one you cannot see, the one whose bars are forged from your own unquestioned perceptions? Tonight, we journey into the heart of that deception. To understand the depth of this potential deception, we must turn to a name that has echoed through the corridors of wisdom for over 2,000 years: Plato. Born in Athens, in a time of golden ages and devastating wars, he wasn't just a philosopher, he was a seeker, a visionary who dared to look beyond the veil, a student of the enigmatic Socrates, a man condemned for daring to make people think. Plato inherited a legacy of relentless inquiry. He in turn would mentor Aristotle, shaping the very bedrock of Western thought. But Plato was haunted by a fundamental problem. The world we experience with our senses is constantly changing, decaying, and ultimately unreliable. Think about it. The beauty that captivates you today will fade. The strength you admire will wane. The very mountains, symbols of permanence, are slowly eroding. If everything is in flux, can true knowledge ever be anchored to such a shifting landscape? This led Plato to his most revolutionary and unsettling idea, the theory of forms. He proposed that beyond this imperfect sensory world, there exists a higher realm, an intelligible realm populated by perfect and eternal blueprints, the forms, the form of beauty, the form of justice, the form of goodness. What we see in our world are mere shadows, imperfect copies, pale imitations of these true eternal realities. His most famous illustration of this is the allegory of the cave. Imagine prisoners chained in a cave since birth, facing a blank wall. Behind them, a fire burns, and puppeteers cast shadows on the wall. For the prisoners, these flickering shadows are reality. They know nothing else. They name them, study them, believe in them with unwavering certainty. This, Plato warns, is the human condition for most. We are those prisoners mistaking the fleeting shadows of our sensory experience for the entirety of existence, unaware of the brilliant, blinding truth that lies just outside our self-imposed darkness. This allegory is not just an intellectual exercise, it's a mirror reflecting our own potential blindness, a stark warning that the reality you're so certain of might be nothing more than a carefully projected illusion. Why does this ancient allegory still resonate with such chilling accuracy? Because the pain Plato described, the suffering born from this ignorance, is woven into the fabric of our modern lives. You feel it, don't you? That persistent ache of dissatisfaction, even when you achieve what you're told should make you happy. The job, the relationship, the possessions, they glitter like the puppeteer's trinkets, promising fulfillment, but often leave an emptiness in their wake. This is the pain of chasing shadows. You invest your heart in a love you believe to be as solid as stone, only to see it crumble like dust when its imperfections, its shadow nature, become apparent. You dedicate your life to climbing a ladder of success, only to reach the top and find the view barren, the air thin, the promised land a mirage. This is the sting of disillusionment, the inevitable consequence of mistaking a fleeting copy for the eternal form. Consider the relentless pursuit of fleeting pleasures, the desperate clutching at trends that fade as quickly as they appear. Is this not the modern equivalent of the prisoners, excitedly identifying the passing shadows, believing they are engaging with something real and substantial? The anxiety that grips you in the quiet hours, the fear of meaninglessness, the dread of an unlived life. These are the echoes of the cave, the soul's intuitive understanding that it is dwelling in darkness, yearning for something more, something true. The societal pressure to conform, to accept the projected images as your own desires, only deepens the wound, making you a willing participant in your own confinement. The root of this pervasive pain is our tragic misidentification. We have mistaken the flickering images on the cave wall for the vibrant, nourishing light of the sun. So what is this grand illusion? This lie that Plato warned us about, the lie that keeps you chained? It's multifaceted, a tapestry woven with threads of sensory deception, societal conditioning, and carefully constructed narratives. Your senses, while useful for navigating this physical world, are easily fooled. They present a version of reality, but not its essence. Think of optical illusions, or how your perception of an event can be skewed by your emotional state. These are small clues to a larger predicament, but the illusion goes deeper than mere sensory input. Society itself, often unintentionally, sometimes quite deliberately, perpetuates the shadows. From a young age, you are fed a script: what success looks like, what happiness entails, what you should value, what you should fear. These narratives, broadcast through media, education, even well-meaning loved ones, become the walls of your cave. They define the boundaries of your perceived reality, and questioning them often invites ridicule or ostracization. It's easier to stay in the familiar darkness than to brave the unknown light. The powers that be, the puppeteers in Plato's Allegory, may not always be malicious figures plotting in secret. Sometimes they are simply the embodiment of collective ignorance, the inertia of tradition, or the systems designed to maintain a certain order, an order that might depend on you not looking too closely. They thrive when you accept the surface level, when you consume without questioning, when your desires are predictable and your thoughts are managed. They don't want you to understand that your contentment might be manufactured, your aspirations implanted. The illusion that binds you is the comfortable, pre-packaged reality that demands your passive acceptance, assuring you that the shadows are all there is, all there ever will be. And the most insidious part? You become your own jailer, fiercely defending the familiarity of your chains. If we are living in a world of shadows, then what is the truth? Plato's answer is as terrifying as it is liberating. The true reality, the realm of the forms, is not something you can touch or see with your physical eyes. It is grasped by the intellect, by reason, by the philosophical mind. This is the stark, unyielding truth behind the comforting illusion. The form of justice is more real than any court ruling. The form of beauty is more real than any fleeting sunset. The form of goodness is the ultimate reality, the sun outside the cave illuminating all other forms, the source of all being and knowledge. Applying this to your life is a radical act. It means that the validation you seek from others, the material wealth you accumulate, the very identity you've constructed based on worldly achievements, these are, in Plato's view, of a lower order of reality. They are reflections, often distorted, of something far greater and more permanent. The philosophical truth is that your true self is not this collection of temporary attributes and possessions, but your soul and its capacity to connect with these eternal forms. The journey out of the cave, as Plato describes, is arduous. When the prisoner is first unchained and forced to look at the fire, it pains his eyes. When he is dragged up the rough ascent and into the sunlight, he is initially blinded, overwhelmed. This is the experience of confronting philosophical truth. It's disorienting. It challenges everything you thought you knew. Your old certainties burn away like mist in the sun. But this pain, this confusion, is the necessary precursor to genuine understanding. The truth isn't always comforting. In fact, it rarely is. It demands that you dismantle the familiar, that you question the unquestionable, that you dare to believe in a reality that transcends the immediate and the visible. It's the realization that you've been mesmerized by a reflection, while the ocean of true existence lay just beyond your perception. Discovering this philosophical truth, or even just entertaining its possibility, ignites a war within. This isn't a gentle awakening. It's a seismic shift that rattles the foundations of your being. The comfort of the cave, the familiar dance of the shadows, suddenly seems like a cruel charade. Yet, the path to the light is fraught with peril and pain. This is the crucible of internal conflict. One part of you, the part conditioned by years of shadow-gazing, will scream in protest. It will cling to the old certainties, to the validation of the other prisoners who still believe the shadows are real. It will whisper insidious doubts. You're crazy, this is too much. Who are you to think you know better than everyone else? Fear will be your constant companion. Fear of the unknown. Fear of being alone in your newfound perception. Fear of the responsibility that comes with seeing. The prisoner dragged from the cave, Plato tells us, would initially be unable to see anything in the upper world. He'd want to return to the familiar darkness. Similarly, you will be tempted to retreat, to dismiss these uncomfortable truths as mere philosophical ramblings, to once again embrace the soothing lies. The allure of the illusion is powerful precisely because it is easier. It requires no effort, no courage, no painful self-examination. But another part of you, the deeper, more authentic self, the soul that yearns for the forms, has tasted a sliver of light. It cannot fully return to the darkness. This is the genesis of transformation. It's a painful tearing away of old skins, a shedding of cherished illusions. You might feel alienated from those still content in the cave. Your old pleasures might seem hollow, your old ambitions trivial. This is the loneliness of the seeker, the burden of clearer sight. Yet, within this conflict a new strength is forged. The struggle to keep your eyes turned towards the light, despite the pain and disorientation, is the very process of your soul's realignment with truth. It's the agonizing, beautiful birth of the philosopher within you, the one who chooses the difficult path of authenticity over the easy path of deception. How then do we navigate this disorienting new landscape? How can Plato's ancient wisdom offer us a path to liberation from the chains we now perceive? The reconstruction begins not with grand external gestures, but with the quiet, determined turning of the soul inward and then upward. If the cave is a state of ignorance, then philosophy, the love of wisdom, is the painstaking ascent into the light. The first step is to cultivate the art of questioning, challenge your assumptions, interrogate the narratives spoon-fed to you by society, by culture, by your own conditioned mind. As Socrates, Plato's mentor, famously declared, "The unexamined life is not worth living." This relentless examination is the chisel that begins to chip away at the illusory walls of your cave. Next is the pursuit of knowledge, not mere information, but the kind of knowledge that nourishes the soul, the understanding of eternal principles, of virtue, of the good. For Plato, this involved rigorous intellectual training, dialectic, the disciplined use of reason to transcend sensory appearances and grasp the forms. In our modern context, it means engaging with profound ideas, contemplating timeless questions, and seeking understanding beyond the superficial headlines and fleeting trends. It's about developing your intellect as a tool to see beyond the shadows. This path is not about rejecting the world, but about seeing it for what it is, a reflection, an imperfect realm that can nonetheless point us towards a higher truth. The beauty you see in a sunset, though fleeting, can be a reminder of the eternal form of beauty. An act of genuine kindness can be a glimpse of the form of goodness. The key is to not mistake the signpost for the destination. This reconstruction is about building an inner citadel, a fortress of philosophical understanding that allows you to engage with the world of shadows without being deceived by it. It's about finding your true north in the eternal forms, so that the shifting winds of worldly opinion and fortune no longer toss you about like a rudderless ship. It's a journey of cultivating virtue, of aligning your actions with your deepest understanding of the good. This is how philosophy liberates, not by offering easy answers, but by equipping you with the tools to find your own way out of the darkness, to become a citizen of that intelligible realm, even while you still walk in this world of shadows. It's about strengthening your soul to bear the brilliance of the sun. So, you stand at a precipice. Behind you lies the dim, familiar comfort of the cave, its illusions woven into the very fabric of your perceived self. Before you, a blinding, challenging, and ultimately liberating light, the possibility of a reality far richer, far deeper than anything the shadows could ever offer. Plato has not just shown you that you might be living a lie, he has handed you the chisel to break your own chains. The world will continue to project its shadows. The puppeteers in their various guises will continue their show. The majority may remain content, mistaking the flickering images for truth, perhaps even mocking those who squint towards the distant light. The choice, as it has always been, remains yours. Will you settle for the curated comfort of the known illusion, or will you embrace the arduous transformative journey towards a truth that resonates with the deepest chords of your soul. The most profound prison is not the one with iron bars, but the one built from unquestioned beliefs, the one whose walls are invisible to those who refuse to see. If reality isn't what you think, what are you prepared to do about it? Are you brave enough to turn away from the flickering wall, to endure the painful ascent, to allow your eyes to adjust to a light that will redefine everything? Or will the fear of the unknown, the seductive whisper of the familiar, pull you back into the comforting darkness? Plato's challenge echoes through the ages, a timeless, provocative call to awaken. What if the life you're living is not truly your own? And if you dare to find out what lies beyond the shadows, who will you become? If this video touched something within you, if it sparked a question or a flicker of recognition in the depths of your own cave, let us know by leaving a like. Subscribe to the channel for more journeys into the heart of philosophical inquiry. Share this with someone who you think needs to hear this message today. And comment below. What shadow, what illusion are you now questioning in your own life? We'll see you in the next video as we continue to seek the light.